Today, we're taking a look at every team's roster in NBA 2K26. Before we see what these ratings are looking like, I do want to note that they're subject to change, as this was from the Community Day version of the game. However, I've compared the ratings on here to the ones that have been publicly released, and I think they're all the same. So we should be smooth. We'll start off in Philadelphia with the 76ers. Joel Embiid is a 92 this year. He peaked at what, like a 95? And he's dropped off significantly. You've got Paul George, who's an 81 overall, man. PG, even in 25, was like an 85, 86. Towards the end of the year, I think dropped to an 84, but now, yeah, that overall's fallen. Tyrese Maxey at an 86 was a little bit surprising to me, especially in the absence of Embiid. He had to step up quite a bit. Thought he might grab an 87, 88. Wasn't the case. Quentin Grimes, I don't think he's even re-signed with Philadelphia technically, so I'm not sure why he's on the roster here. Kelly Oubre Jr., hey handsome, he's a 78 overall. Before we get too far into this, I do want to thank 2K for flying me out to play NBA 2K26 Early. That's the only reason we're able to check out all these rosters, and we'll have more early 2K26 content coming soon. Also, I want to thank you because I know you're about to go down there and press the subscribe button. We're now on the road to 300K. Far as the bench players go for Philadelphia, we won't spend too much time on the bench guys for most teams, but Jared McCain at an 80 is interesting. I think he was an 83, 84 at one point because he had such a strong start to his rookie year. But what I noticed in checking out a lot of these ratings was that guys who got injured, yeah, their overalls would drop a little bit. There goes Bona. But their overalls would drop a little bit. Hey, Bubble Butt! Man, Andre Drummond really used to be like, what, an 87, 88. Now he's a 76 backup center. But hey, he's still got a job in the league getting paid millions to play ball. So that doesn't sound too bad to me. Checking out the Milwaukee Bucks, man. They got Giannis playing with 2K generated players. Get Giannis out of there. Torian Prince, Darvin Ham would have bro rated a 99, but he's a 75. Kuz, he's a 77. That's probably the lowest he's been since his rookie season. Even like later into his rookie year, he's probably higher than that. Giannis is a 97 now. This is a little bit of a spoiler, but Shea and Jokic are 98s. I feel like Giannis should be right there with them. Miles Turner, the second best player here in Milwaukee, at an 83 overall. I think an 83 for Miles is smooth, but I could anticipate that going up just because playing next to Giannis, I feel like he's going to get a lot of open catch and shoot tray balls, and he'll be able to knock those down. You also got Bobby Portis at an 81. BP was like an 83 and 25, and I was really surprised at Gary Trent being only a 77. I thought Gary would get a little bit more on his overall, maybe 78, 79, had some strong playoff games, good shooter, but I felt like role players didn't get a ton of love in the 2K26 ratings. Rest of the team is kind of whatever. Cole Anthony's a 77. But yeah, that's the Milwaukee Bucks right there. Now we're moving on to the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls, you got Josh Giddey here. Giddey's an 82 overall. In 24, he was an 80, or 20. In 25, he was an 84 or 85. They dropped him. Kobe White was like an 86. Kobe had such a strong end to the season, so I was surprised to see him at only an 83. Ayo used to be like an 80. Now he's a 76. Modest is at a 79, and I could see that jumping this year for sure. Vucci Mane had a really good year. Shot the ball super well. Averaged like 20, and they give him an 82. Trey Jones only a 76. Zach Collins at a 75. I'm telling you, these role player ratings got absolutely cooked. Isaac Okoro's only a 74 these days. Overall, the Chicago squad looks awful, to be honest with you. Your best players in 83, you only got a couple 80-plus guys. But the Cavs, oh man, they're looking elite. Darius Garland is an 87 overall, which I think is fair. Garland's poised to have a better season this year, though, especially if he's healthy. You could see that jumping up past a 90. Donovan Mitchell at a 93. He's always been in the 93, 94, 92 range for some time, so that's cool with me. Max Strus at a 77. Thought Maxwell would get a little bit more love, but I'm telling you, this is a bad year if you're a role player. Bro's only a 77. Evan Mobley at an 89. I mean, I thought Mobley might get the 90 overall club. It looks like he's been in the gym this offseason. I need that workout program, Evan, because he's been looking big. Jared Allen is at an 84 overall. As far as the bench for Cleveland, you've got DeAndre Hunter, who they recently brought in. He was like an 84 in 25. Now he's down to an 80. And Lonzo Ball, of course, your newest Cavalier, maybe not the newest, but a new Cavalier. He is a 78 overall in this upcoming 2K. I'm really interested to see how he does with Cleveland, this new team, an opportunity to play for a contender. I'm excited for him. Hope he stays healthy and everything goes smooth over there. For the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum's a 94. Despite the injury, they keep him at a high overall. I mean, when he went down with that injury, he was playing at such a high level. It was very impressive. Derek White, get well soon, Tatum, by the way. Derek White stays at an 87. I feel like he's been in the 87, 88 range for years. Jaylen Brown's a 90. I could see that jumping this year just because he's going to have a lot of opportunities with Tatum being out. Anthony Simons is an 81. Kata's a 74. Neemias Queta's really starting at the 5 for Boston. That's kind of crazy, man. I mean, they traded half the roster to save money, is what it feels like. Peyton Pritchard. This is who I wanted to talk about off this Boston team. An 80 for the 6th man of the year? You kidding me? Bro, Peyton Pritchard be an 83, 84. I wouldn't even be mad at an 85 considering some of the guys that are 85s. We'll get to it later. But I think at the bare minimum, give him an 82. Like, what are we talking about? Moving on to Los Angeles, and I know a lot of people are curious about Bronny's rating. We'll get to the Los Angeles Lakers here later. We're going in alphabetical order. So, we got the Clippers next, the other LA team, you know, the one that doesn't win championships, with all due respect. You've got James Harden at the point guard spot. He's an 89 overall, averaging 40. Yeah, James Harden not able to get 90 this year. I thought Bradford Beal being an 80 was low-key crazy, man. I thought Beal would get a little bit more on his overall. Clearly, I was mistaken. I mean, listen, $50 million a year, Bradley Beal, or whatever he was making with Phoenix, kind of a crazy contract, right? So I think now on the Clippers, he's making what, $6-7 million? Something like that. Great value for them, and you could argue an 81, 82 for Bradley Beal for sure. Kawhi Leonard is going to be at a 92 for this upcoming year. Kawhi, man, when he's healthy and dialed in, it feels like bro's a 99 overall, but I think a 92 is perfectly fair considering the availability issues and everything else. I guess you got to factor that in when it comes to the overall. John Collins is going to be at an 82. JC, man, he was like an 85 last year, wasn't he, for the Jazz? I thought at one point he was their best, highest rated player, but he drops a little bit, and we saw that with a lot of guys. Their overall is just getting dropped by 2, maybe 3 even, for just whatever reason, even though like you didn't really see a significant drop off in their play. Zoo's an 87, think he was an 88 last year. Brook Lopez at an 80. See, listen, this is what I'm saying. Brook Lopez hasn't gone over 4 miles per hour since like 2012, and you're telling me Bradley Beal's an 80 just like him? You're telling me Peyton Pritchard is an 82? Like, are we serious? I just don't really understand that. My GOAT, Nick Batum, only a 75. The disrespect is just, oh my gosh, it's absolutely ridiculous. Oh yeah, and then Christopher Paul. He's a 78 overall, so Chris is below an 80 in this 2K. I thought Chris was smooth with the Spurs. He played all 82. You can't give him the nod, at least give him an 80 overall or something? Hey man, I guess. We move on to the Memphis Grizzlies. J.A. Morant, he's going to be a 91 overall. I feel like if Ja can stay healthy, and they've been saying this for years, but if Ja can stay healthy and really go on a run, that overall could be up to a 95 in no time. KCP, oh my gosh, he had a horrible season shooting the ball with the Nuggets. I see why he's a 76. Jalen Wells, also a 76. Man, this Grizz roster just doesn't look that good without Desmond Bane, man. And we'll get to Desmond Bane's rating later because I kind of have a strong take about his rating. But Jalen Wells is a 76. Triple J is an 89. But you don't have any other 80 plus players on this team outside of Ja and outside of Triple J. Zach Edey, yeah, the playoffs probably didn't help, bro. That's probably why he's a 79. Brandon Clark's a 78. He's been a 78, 79 for, it feels like forever. Ty Jerome at a 79. The playoffs did not help bro out at all, huh? Because he was like an 83, 84 at one point in 2K. His overall got absolutely cooked by the NBA playoffs there. Pippen Jr. is only a 76, so quite a drop there. And they didn't have my guy Jemai Masak on the roster. I don't know if that's just a community day thing or what, but bro follows me on Twitter. He watched my video I did about him. He was the last pick in the 2025 draft, gave him 99 potential. I was hoping to see him on the roster there. But anyway, we'll move on to the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks, it's Trae Young, Dyson, Z Rizzy, Jalen Johnson, and Kristaps Porzingis. Why did I announce their whole roster? Have I done that for any other team? But there you go, man. Atlanta, there's the whole lineup. Trae Young is in the 90 overall club at a smooth 90. I think with the teammates he's got around him, the opportunity for that overall to go up throughout the season is definitely there. We could maybe see him at a 93. Dyson Daniels, listen, bro. Dyson Daniels is so good defensively. I think you throw him like an 85. I mean, his abilities in the passing lanes, absolutely sensational. I just think he might deserve a little bit more. Zachary Reese-Shea, he's at an 80 going into 26. Yeah. Jalen Johnson at an 81, so crazy to me, man. That's just disrespectful. The way he was playing prior to getting hurt, he was like an 85, 86 last year. Like, why do we have him at an 81? If injuries are that big of a deal, KP should not be an 85. He should be like an 83. You see what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know about that one. Double O is at an 81. Onyeka Okongwu, yeah, 81 is fine. But, like, you're telling me Peyton Pritchard is only an 80? I don't get it. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 78. Luke Kennard, 75. Asa Newell is a 71. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about the Atlanta Hawks. Did not like quite a few of these ratings here, especially Jalen Johnson, man. What happened there? Nickeil might deserve an 82. Not an 82 overall, but an 80 overall as well. I guess I should have said that, but you get what I'm getting at there. Man, why did I spend so much time looking at the Hawks roster in this recording? This is post-commentary, by the way, if you couldn't tell, because yeah, I'm just going through in the video player and showing this. But anyway, because at Community Day, it was real loud. Like, it would have been hard to record live commentary. Moving on to the Miami Heat, you've got Tyler Hero at an 86. You could argue for an 87, but it's one overall. I'm not going to spend too much time arguing about that. Norman Powell, he was like an 87, 88 with the Clippers last year. They've got him at an 84. I think the Powell's going to get a lot of opportunities, a lot of touches with the Miami Heat, so I could see that overall jumping right back up to an 88. Wiggs only at a flat 80. Wiggins, we need you back in Golden State. Man, we need Golden State to do something. They might not even make a move before 2K26 drops. Like, this is ridiculous work. Bam Adebayo's an 88. Kel'el Ware at a 79. Kel'el was above an 80, or at least at a flat 80 in 2K25 for the Miami Heat, but we see that overall drop a little bit for him. Sorry, Kel'el, but it happened to a lot of guys that overall dropped down. See, this is what I'm talking about, though. Davion's only a 77. Like, Davion locks down. Davion locks down defensively. I feel like he deserves more. He's coming off a good season. Offensive game even got a little bit better. Like, these good, valuable role players, I think deserve a little bit more. Jaime Jaquez and Jovic, their overalls got absolutely cooked going into this one. And yeah, that's about it for the Miami Heat. I hope Wiggs has a good season with them, man. Wiggins was always just a very steady player for the Warriors. Never really ever got hurt. Always available. But anyway, moving on to the Charlotte Hornets. You got 6'7" LaMelo Ball. He's an 87. It's an availability thing with LaMelo Ball, man. That's the bottom line there. If he stays available, stays healthy, that overall could jump over a 90, but who knows if that's going to happen. The Knipple dude is a 75. They already revealed that in the rookie ratings. Brandon Miller at an 82. I think Miller was like an 84 at one point in 25, but they drop his overall a little bit. Mason Plumlee at a 75. Wow, Mason Plumlee, is he really poised to start at center? Yeah, they did lose Mark Williams, so I guess that does make sense. Oh yeah, they did bring in Colin Sexton as well. He's going to be at an 80 overall going into this 2K. I think that Sexton, he could eat on this Hornets team for sure. I mean, who else is going to get buckets? Trey Mann's overall dropped quite a bit. He was near an 80. Now he's a 75. I thought Dinwiddie would be a little better. 76 for Dinwiddie? I mean, he closed out the season solid. I don't know about that one. Grant Williams at a 73. Pat Connaughton at a 72. I think Grant Williams, he should be coming back from injury this year, right? He's been out for some time, man. As we move on to the Utah Jazz, might be one of the worst teams in the game. You've got Isaiah Collier, Keontae George, both 78s. Ace Bailey gets a 77 rookie rating. Really not bad at all. That's real solid. Lauri Markkanen's going to be in an 84. Markkanen's been an 84 for a minute, it feels like. Kessler was an 84 in 25, but now he's down to an 82. We've seen that with a lot of guys. You know, they drop a couple overalls here. Filipowski's going to be at a 78. 78. He was a second round pick for Utah in the 2024 NBA draft. I thought Nurk at a 77 was generous considering a guy like Davion Mitchell is a 77. I'm not going to lie, man. I think Nurkic's career might be nearing an end at this point in time. And I don't know, man. I thought 77 was generous, to say the least, man. There goes George Niang at a 74. Now we'll move on to Sacktown, the Sacramento Kings. You've got Dennis Schroeder at a 78 overall. DS, he played for about 6-7 teams last year. Had some big moments with the Brooklyn Nets. He was good with the Pistons. I thought maybe that close to the season with the Pistons and the playoffs and all that would maybe grab him an 80 overall, but nah, they got him at a 78. Zachary LaVine, he played well on the Kings after getting traded. I don't know about having him and Debo at the same overall, especially just because LaVine's game is a little more versatile with the three-point shooting. DeMar's never really added a consistent high-volume tray ball to his game. LaVine's got that. Keegan Murray had a rough year. I'm surprised to see him still at an 80, given all the guys that are below an 80. Sabonis, triple-double machine. Yeah, when a guy can do so much offensively, they're going to be a higher overall. 87 solid for him. He's always between like the 87 and 89 range, it feels like. Malik Monk at an 80. He was like an 84 in 25, but drops down to an 80 in this one. Keon Ellis was near an 80. He's at a 76. Dario Saric is on the Kings. Is that accurate, or did they just throw him on here to fill out the roster? Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I haven't been keeping up with Dario Saric free agency news. I thought bro retired. Oh no, he was on the Nuggets last year, wasn't he? Anyway, New York Knicks. Now, you've got Brunson at a 93. That's right around where he's been at. Mikal Bridges at an 84. Mikal used to be a little bit higher when he was on the Nets, but has had to take on a smaller role because this Knicks team is just so talented, so he's an 84. OG at an 85 on the wing there. Josh Hart used to be around an 83, 84. He's at an 81 going into this one. Again, this is just, it seems like the year of role players, and their overalls dropping down pretty significantly, at least a couple overalls. We see that once again there with Josh Hart. Karl Towns stays at a 92. I think that's exactly where he was at in 25. If not, he was like a 93, so around the same there. The bench is where it gets interesting for New York. I forgot about this. You look at Yabusele, right? He's a 77. He had a strong year over in Philadelphia. Thought he'd be closer to an 80. Clarkson, I thought he'd be lower, to be honest. I thought he might be a 75, given the efficiency issues he struggled with. Deuce at a 76 is so horrible, bro, because they literally had him in the top mid-range ratings. I thought he was going to grab an 80 this year at least, but no. 76 for Deuce McBride, I think is bad. And then Money Mitch, what he brings to the table defensively, I thought he'd be an 80, but it seems like defense isn't getting valued as much. There's the Daddy A dude. Yeah, I don't know about that. But now we're going on to the Lakers, and this is where everybody's going to get talking. What is Bronny's rating? What's Bronny looking like in 26? Boy, oh boy, you're about to find out. Okay, Los Angeles Lakers, Luka Doncic, LeBron James. Now, first thing you probably noticed, Luka is a higher overall than Bron. The Don, he's a 95 overall going into 26, while Bron is a 94. Last year, they were tied at a 96, I feel like, for the longest time. Reeves also drops off a little bit. He was like an 87, 88, but in the playoffs, yeah, Reeves didn't have too many moments, so I guess they drop him down for that. Rui Hachimura is an 80 overall. DA below an 80, probably for the first time since like his rookie season. He's going to be a 79 overall for the Lakers. Vando at a 77. Honestly, given the guys like Davion Mitchell were 77s, I thought Vando might be a little bit lower. Same thing with Marcus Smart at a 78. Given the rough season he had with the Grizz, thought that might be lower. Dalton Connect at a 76. That summer league, man. I don't know if that factors into the overall, but golly, Connect 4 had a rough summer league. I know he does not want to be on the Lakers, dog, but he's over there. And then Bronny James, yep, he's still a 68 overall. Like I said, this isn't the final version of the game. This is the community day version of the game. Ratings could change, but from what guys were telling me, if ratings change, it'll be like a 3-point shot change. It's not like a overall rating changes. So again, that could be wrong. Take everything I say with a grain of salt there. But I wouldn't, like, personally, I wouldn't log in and expect Bronny James to be like a 75 or something. He's a 68. I think that's probably, my guess is that's probably where he'll be at in 26. Maybe maybe they don't really factor in Summer League, G League, or any of that when it comes to overall. Maybe it's all based on NBA performance. I'm not too sure, because we've seen good stuff from Bronny, but we haven't seen good stuff from Bronny in the NBA. He had like a game or two where he had some moments, but there hasn't been much there, and that was all last season. So Bronny might still be standing pat at a 68. At least that's what it's looking like in the Community Day edition of the game. And anyway, we've got the Orlando Magic. Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bane, Franz. Am I going to announce the whole lineup again? No. But look, you've got Jalen Suggs at an 82, Bane at an 83. I said earlier I had a take on Desmond Bane. I think that given how good he is as a three-point shooter, how much volume he does it at, I think he should be an 85, 86, man. And Franz, I think, kind of got cooked here too. Thought he might be able to grab an 88. Paolo at a 90. Paolo, tough, bro. I thought you might give him a 91, 92. He was at like a 93 in 25, so I thought it'd be a little higher there. Wendell's a 78. Anthony Black's a 78. I'm cool with that. Tyus Jones a 77. John Isaac now a 73 overall, which is super low there. Jace Richardson's a 70. Mo Wagner down to a 75. He had an ACL or an Achilles, didn't he? So that's probably why they dropped the overall. We've seen that with injured players throughout this. Same thing with Kyrie Irving. He's going to be a 90 overall. And if you weren't informed yet, Cooper Flagg an 82 going into 2K26. Now Flagg, let's talk about him, man. This is a really high rookie rating. And when I was using Cooper Flagg in the game, golly! Oh my goodness, man. I don't know if this video is going to drop before or after I drop gameplay, but y'all see some Cooper Flagg stuff, and yeah, his animations felt super smooth. Klay Thompson's at a 79 overall. Yeah, I don't know if Klay's going to get back up over 80. Anthony Davis is at a 93, which is surprising. I remember when they were revealing like the block ratings and all that other stuff. Anthony Davis wasn't in it. It was like post scoring or something like that, post control, whatever it was. AD wasn't in the ratings, so people were like, man, is AD like what's his overall about to be? I had a tweet that was like, Anthony Davis about to be a 62 overall or something, because people were wondering what in the world's going on with AD. Now Gafford's gonna be an 80 going into this one. I think it was the same for Derek Lively. Yeah. PJ Washington is a 79. Najee Marshall a 78. Maxwell Christie only a 75. Max, he was hooping when he first got to the Mavericks. Bro was on a revenge tour for the Lakers trading him, but yeah, slowed down a little bit. Overall drop. D'Lo at a 78 is so crazy to me. Not that I think he should be like a lot higher or anything, but just like, wow, D'Angelo Russell's a 78 overall. You know what I mean? It's just weird to think about, because D'Lo used to be in the mid to maybe higher 80s, but now only a 78. As we move on to the Brooklyn Nets, this is probably the worst team in the game. Oh my gosh, man. And Cam Thomas, he shouldn't even really be on the roster because they haven't figured out his whole contract situation there, but Cam is there. He's only an 80 going into this one. Considering the scoring bag he has, thought he'd be a little bit higher, but you got a 72 overall starting point guard in Demon. MPJ is your best player at an 82. Yeah, coming off the playoffs he had, I think an 82 is fine. Clax drops below an 80 overall, which I did not really expect. I feel like Clax has always been around an 80. Terrence Mann's a 75. Danny Wolf, W name. But overall, this team is just absolutely horrible. They might win 10 games all season. Next up, you got the Denver Nuggets. Now, Jokic, he is the highest rated player in NBA 2K26. Him and Shea are technically both the same at 98s, right? But Jokic, I guess, has more stats or whatever it may be. That when 2K was releasing the top player rankings, Jokic was the guy at a 98 overall. So there you go. And then Aaron Gordon, he's an 82. Cam Johnson, right around the same as he's been, an 83. Now, I will say AG was around an 84, 85 for some time, so his overall dropped a bit. And considering the playoffs he had, that might be a little bit crazy. Jamal Murray's an 86. He's always around the 86 to 88 range, it feels like. And then Christian Brown, he's at an 80 overall. I guess he didn't take as much of a leap as people might have expected after the Nuggets went on that run in 2023 for the championship. Off the bench, you got Brucey B at only a 76. Yeah, Bruce Brown has struggled since leaving Denver, but I think he could bounce back this upcoming season. That overall could start flying up because he's back with Jokic, who, yeah, he looked really good next to him. Tim Hardaway, he had a solid season in Detroit, and I think he's going to do really well next to Jokic. I mean, guys just do well next to Joker. The new addition, Valanciunas, is a 78. Julian Strother's a 74. We move on to the Indiana Pacers. Now, Halliburton, he is injured. I thought that might affect his overall. Nah, 2K showed him love considering the playoff run that he had. Man, Hallie deserves it, bro. 93 overall. Bro was hitting game winners every 6-7 seconds. It was ridiculous. I'm gonna edit that out. I've said 6-7 way too many times video. I thought Nembhard might get a little bit more love, and maybe an 82, 83, but only an 81. I think having him at the same as Neesmith is crazy. And then Obi Toppin's an 80? How is Peyton Pritchard an 80? How is Bradley Beal an 80? I'm not understanding here. Siakam almost gets the nod and gets a 90 overall. It'll be interesting to see how he steps up with the Pacers needing somebody to step up in the absence of Halliburton. Ben Mathurin only a 79. I think Math really step up this year. Without Hallie out there, yeah, he's going to get to work. TJ McConnell, T-Mac, only an 80 overall here. Well, only. I don't know, man. He was so sensational in the playoffs. His overall might go up with Hallie out. I mean, he was really good for the Indiana Pacers. As we move on to the New Orleans Pels. The Pels, you've got DeJounte Murray at an 81 overall. Murray, man, again, it's the injury thing, I think. Man, listen, Jordan Poole at an 82, not an 82, like an 80 is crazy. I thought he'd be higher as well. Maybe I'm overrating JP, but I thought he had a good season last year and that the overall would go up a little bit. Trey Murphy deserves a little more love. The Pels just got cooked here. Zion's an 87. It's probably the injury stuff, man, because when he plays, he's incredible. So, yeah, Eve Meese's a 79. Herb Jones only an 81 is kind of crazy to me as well. There's Derek Queen's a 73. My guy, Kevon Looney's only a 74. Yeah, these Pels ratings about ruined my day. I don't even want to look at these anymore. That one was that was sad. That was sad. Cade's at a 92. Yeah, Cade Cunningham, bro. He's like that. I think he could jump up to a 93, 94, maybe even a 95 during the season. Jaden Ivey's coming off the injury, but once he gets back to it, I mean, he was what, like 84 at one point for the Pistons. I think he can easily get back to that. Asar Thompson at an 81. Let me tell you, bro, his brother Amen. Oh my gosh, using him in the game and play now. Oh, he's tough. He's tough. Toby Harris is an 80. Jalen Duren's at an 82. Nah, I don't really have any problems there. But moving on, you got Duncan Robinson at a 76. I thought Karis LeVert might be a little higher than a 78, but I'm debate too much about that. Wow, Beef Stew's only a 74 now. You know, those hands are 99 overall though, right? Raptors, IQ's an 81. He was usually a little bit higher. And Scotty Barnes is going to be the best player on the team at an 85 overall. BI only an 82, or sorry, an 84. RJ's only an 80. Probably the rating I have the most problem with. I thought he had a good season last year with the Raptors, was efficient, good in his role, and they only have him at an 82. I don't know about that one. Jakob Poeltl also drops a bit down to an 80 overall. Grady Dix at a 78. Jonathan Mobo 74. Jacoby Walter. Wow, Oche's only a 73. Garrett Temple's still in the league. Is that accurate? Rockets. Let's move on here. Oh my gosh, using KD too was, oh man. He's a 93. Amen Thompson's an 87. I talked about him. Bro, I'm telling y'all, the Rockets are probably going to be one of my favorite teams to use in quick play this year. KD and Amen. Oh boy. Fred VanVleet's an 80, which I think is fine. I thought Kevin Durant might grab a 94 because Bron's a 94 and, well, spoiler alert, Curry is too. Bari's only a smooth 80. Şengün's in an 87. I think Şengün could jump up during the season, as could Amen. Both those guys, in my opinion, have real solid upside, so I'm excited to see what they could do. Tari Eason was like an 84. Now he's at an 80, so that's a big change there for Tari Eason. But those role players, man, their overalls dropped. I think the same thing happened for Bari. He was probably around an 83, 84, but that dropped off. DFS, he just never is a very high overall. Capella's only 77. I feel like he's always been an 80 plus. Steven Adams, after the playoffs he's a 75? What? Yeah, I don't know about that one. There's Uncle Jeff, 73. San Antonio Spurs. Oh man, this is going to be another one of those teams in 2K, just because, I mean, Victor Wembanyama. But let me tell you, when I was playing the game, and this isn't really a video that's talking about gameplay, but just to say a thing here, Victor Wembanyama, I mean, oh yeah, grass is green take. He was incredible, but it's because of the way the gameplay was, man. The gameplay was fast paced, and because Wemby has this unique combination of a little bit of speed, he's a great athlete, and then he's also so tall, he can dribble. Bro, that's why KD was so nice too, in my opinion. I'm not a big gameplay guy. I don't know as much as the comp players do or any of that. Not claiming to, but Wemby was nice. HB's a 78. Devin Vassell's at an 81. Thought he might be a little bit higher. Steph Castle at an 82. I think it's a fine starting point for the season. Same thing for Fox at an 85 due to the injuries he's coming off, but you know Fox is going to start jumping up in overall. I don't expect him to be an 85 once the season season's over, it should be higher. Keldon Johnson's at a 78, same as Dylan Harper, who the San Antonio Spurs drafted. I'm curious about what his role looked like with the team. Carter Bryant, oh, he looks like a good pick for them. He's a 72 overall. Luke Cornett only a 76. He was around 78, 79 in 2K25. Phoenix Suns, Jalen Green did get quite the downgrade. He is an 83 overall going into 2K26, but it's going to be him and Book getting buckets. So the Jalen Green, if this Suns team wants to do anything, you're going to have to be better than the 83 overall. Booker, I thought could have got a little more love than a 91. Dylan Brooks at a 79, I'm cool with. Royce O'Neal at a 75. Royce never gets too high of an overall. Mark Williams dropped a lot. He was an 84 and 25, which maybe was a little high for him, but now he's all the way down to a 79, which might be a little low. There's Malawak at a 74. Nick Richards dropped a little bit down to a 76. I always thought Jordan Goodwin was pretty solid. 73 is quite low for him. Going on to the Oklahoma City Thunder, Shai Gilgeous, second highest rated player in the game, the cover athlete. He is a 98 overall. Lou Dort sits at an 81, right around where he's been. Dub, same thing, right around where he's been. Chet, same thing. iHeart, he was around an 84, 85 for a time, but he's an 82. Casey Wallace, 79 overall. Man, this Thunder team's deep. Caruso's an 80. Joe's a 78. Aaron Wiggins a little lower than last year, 77. The other Jalen Williams is at what? Did I say a 76? Yeah, the other Jalen Williams dropped off a little, 75. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these role player ratings have dropped 100%. As we move on to the T-Wolves, the Wolves, Ant-Man still doesn't have a face scan, but he is a 95 overall, well-deserved after what he was doing in the playoffs. Uncle Mike, 78 overall. Him and Chris Paul, both 78s this year. Jaden McDaniels at an 82. McDaniels might just always be underrated in 2K, huh? He deserves at least an 84. If Rudy's an 84, Jaden McDaniels might be a 99. Julius Randle's at an 86. Had a solid playoff, which is out of character for Julius Randle. We've seen him struggle in the playoffs in the past, so it was nice to see him out there hooping. Rudy at an 84, I guess. Nas is an 82. DiVincenzo at a 78. Terrence Shannon had some solid moments in the playoffs. Thought he might be more than the 73. Rob's a 74 going into this year. I'm assuming Dillingham will get more minutes and we could see his overall really start jumping. We're creeping up on the final few teams here as we head to Portland, where Dame's going to be an 88 coming off the injury. I don't know that he'll play all year. Drew Holiday got a pretty big drop in overall. He's down to an 81. Didn't have the best year for the C's. Tumani Cabrera's an 82. Yeah, Tumani was getting to it defensively. Avdia's at an 82. He might have been like an 86 or something in 25, so his overall dropped quite a bit. Donovan Klingen's at a 77. I think he was around 79, 80 in the past, so quite a bit of a drop from Klingen as well. And then they got Shaden Sharp at an 81. Jeremy Grant, he's on that huge contract. He's a 79. Scoot's only a 78, which is interesting for sure. I'm wondering how his role will look in Portland this year, especially how it'll look once Dame gets back. Thibel's a 75. Love the bubble vlogs. And there's Jan Hansen at a 70 overall. We got the Warriors here. Steph Curry, a 94, just like Bron. B. Pods is a 79. He's usually been above 80. Moses Moody at a 77. Jimmy at an 87. Dre, only an 81. This was something I talked about in the past, but Draymond Green, I think, definitely deserves more than an 81 overall. I mean, you talk about the defense, but he also brings the playmaking. Maybe could hit a 3 here or there. And he can guard on the perimeter. He's so versatile. If Rudy's an 84, Dre's got to be at least an 84. Honestly, maybe even higher if Rudy's going to be an 80. Buddy Hield's only a 77. They got Kuminga at a 78. Now, Kuminga, I guess, technically shouldn't even be on the Warriors roster because, you know, he hasn't signed yet, and that's why the Warriors haven't done anything all offseason. But anyway, I'm not mad about it or anything. Kuminga's a 78 overall. Guy Santos at a 73. Yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about the Warriors ratings. The Wizards, golly, this team is trash. Get CJ, Chris Middleton out of there. Let him go to a good team. McCollum's an 81. Wow, Chris isn't an 80 anymore. He's a 79. Koulibaly's a 78. Kaishan George at a 77. And then Alex Sarr is an 81. Bub Carrington at a 78. The rookie Trey Johnson's a 75. New addition Cam Whitmore also a 75. Yeah, just a bad roster for sure. But that will wrap up our full NBA 2K26 roster breakdown. Like I've said multiple times, these rosters are subject to change, but I still wanted to go over these because I was really excited about them. And yeah, man, want to thank 2K again for flying me out to 2K26 Community Day so I could capture this early content. There will be more content on 2K26 coming out, so hope y'all enjoyed. Like, subscribe. We love basketball. Have a great day. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.